That's my responsibility to translate that.
Yes.
Because a lot of those older Republican voter audiences do care a lot
Yes.
about the Constitution.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the North American Blockchain Summit. I am here with presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, who just gave a rousing speech with his comprehensive crypto policy strategy. Mr. Ramaswamy, thanks for being here. Good to see you, man. So as we go into the final stretches before the primaries, how big of a role is digital assets playing in the conversation with younger voters that are extremely excited about your candidacy?
Yeah, so among young voters, it's high. Amongst the base of the Republican Party or the Republican Party establishment, I should say, non-existent.
Sure.
I mean, it's totally non-existent. And I think they view it as sort of this, it's like this word, they don't really understand what this is, crypto. You know, I think they're like flags that wave in the wind for a lot of the professional politicians. Just tell me if I'm supposed to be pro this or anti this.
Right.
And right now they're not getting a clear message from their whisper masters. And so they're not talking about it.
Right.
Whereas for me, I'm an entrepreneur. I mean, I come at this from having lived in regulated industries, understanding the depth of what that regulation does to a sector and innovation in that sector, from healthcare to energy to crypto. It's the same story. And so I come at this with much more of a first personal passion. It's part of my vision of reviving the American dream. It's part of my vision of reviving the 1776 principles this country was founded on. And so for me, that's where this comes from. It's not even just about crypto. It's about the identity of our country.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's a little bit of a passion crusade, but they generally don't like to hear about it because it's outside of the Overton window of what you're supposed to talk about in the modern Republican Party. And I'm here and making sure that we drive a truck through that Overton window.
Well, we've done a lot of polling of likely voters, Republican likely voters. Young Republican likely voters are incredibly amplified and jazzed up about the digital asset industry.
I see on the ground.
The older Republican voters are not. So that is a dichotomy there, generational dichotomy.
And here's the thing, though. I think I'm able to reach a lot of those older voters. I see this on the ground in places like Iowa, right? The events we host, there will be some former libertarian, but who's willing to run the Republican primary, asking the questions about CBDCs or asking the question about the future of Bitcoin.
Yes.
And then you have a lot of older audiences like, what the heck's he talking about? That's my responsibility to translate that.
Yes.
Because a lot of those older Republican voter audiences do care a lot about the Constitution. And the federalism.
Know they're anti-CBDC.
And they know they're anti-CBDC.
Yes.
And they know they're anti-centralization of power in the hands of government. And so if we're not bringing them along here, that's my failure. That's my job in this, as the next president, as a leading candidate now, to translate that spirit, not just to say, how are we just going to cater to bringing young voters in? We have to do that. But I have to reach those older voters as well.
Yes.
Which is why we need help from the people who understand this to lift us up. Because the Republican establishment, I'm not their chosen favorite puppet or candidate, okay?
Well, but your business background,
bottom up, I think we can actually make our voice heard.
I agree. And your business background does give you a lot of street cred with the Republican establishment.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, a lot of the older so when I say Republican establishment, I want to be really clear. I'm talking about the machine.
Yes.
Like the managed the party Republican National Party machine. Older voters are a different category. That's most of the Republican primary base, but they're actually with us. They just don't know it yet.
Yes.
So it requires, someone of my generation, but to be able to explain with clarity, this is why Thomas Jefferson would have been pro-cryptocurrency if he were alive today. This is why the 10th Amendment, which bakes in the decentralization of power, that's what we want in our financial system as well. And then we can actually bring them along, but that requires explanation and persuasion. And nobody else in the Republican Party, frankly, in either party, is up for the task of doing it. And so I feel that special sense of responsibility. We have a clear path to success here. I admit it on stage, and I'll say it now. It is an uphill path, but it is a path.
Yes.
And, I'm one of the last 4 candidates that's remaining in this race. And we're rising. And so between now and the Iowa caucus, we get the lift of this crypto community. I will be in a position to serve as the next president. And I think that that's something that will actually drive the change that we're in.
So Iowa, New Hampshire are upcoming. What are you most excited about those two, the caucus and the primary?
Well, what I'm excited about right now is we're sitting exactly where we want to be sitting. Expectations for me to win either of those states are low, which is perfect. The person who wins the Iowa
outperform.
Exactly. The person who wins the Iowa caucus almost never ends up being the actual president, right? But it's all about setting the momentum for what then comes in the later stages.
The media gets a hold of you and you're like, hey, this guy, Mr. Ramaswamy, was second in the Iowa caucus. And then he's second in New Hampshire, and then he's first in South Carolina.
Exactly
and then
where you want to be. Nevada and everything else that comes after. So we're sitting exactly where we want to be. A lot of the voters who are supporting me have never participated in a caucus before. The only people that get polled are the people who have served in caucus, who have participated in caucus before. So we're sitting exactly where we want to be. The mainstream media has increasingly been shutting me out. So we're going podcasts, decentralized approaches to reach people. We're exactly where we want to be to deliver major surprises in Iowa and New Hampshire. That will propel us with the momentum to go the distance. And I'm going to stay in this till the very end until we succeed.
Love to hear it. Yeah. Mr. Ramaswamy, you have some press here that are waiting in the wings to interview you. So we'll wrap it up. Thank you for taking some time.
All I'll say is ask for the help of this community. Fundraising, bluntly, is the number one difference.
Absolutely.
For whether we're able to win in those early states. And so, I was probably not very good at asking for this early on in the race. My family and I, we've self-funded this because the big dollars, and then the number of donors, we have hundreds of thousands, we have 150,000 plus, whatever it is, small dollar donors. That's what lifted us up. But now in the next 60 days, between now and the Iowa caucus and the New Hampshire primary, the sheer amount of money that we're able to raise matters for how much we're able to communicate on the ground. And so we accept crypto. We accept all forms of donation. Vivek2024.com. I'm not shy about asking for it now. And you all do your part. I promise you we're going to do ours.
Glad to hear it. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for coming out to the 2023 North American Blockchain Summit. It was the best summit yet. We look forward to hosting you again next year. If you enjoyed the summit or like what you saw in this video, be sure to subscribe. If you're interested in learning more about membership in the TBC, go to texasblockchaincouncil.org to learn more.